Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of old sheet music. I'm your host, Nicholas Carroll. Tonight I'm looking at Marche Grotesque by Christian Sinding. Christian Sinding was a Norwegian composer, often regarded as the successor to Edvard Grieg, because they were both from Norway, and because he did live right after. And because he wrote a lot of program music, which means it's music all about a scene or a storyline, and Edvard Grieg was really big on that. So, of course, Christian Sinding kind of carried on that tradition. In fact, Edvard Grieg also has a Marche Grotesque. So the comparison is apt, so that nickname I think fits pretty well. This particular piece is from the late 1800s. This doesn't have a copyright in it. Of course, this isn't an original edition of this, but this is a Bellwin Publications version. But Christian Sinding lived in the late 1800s, so it was around then that it would have been written. And if you want to know for sure, you might be able to look it up, but this isn't one of his more famous pieces, so you might not find this particular one. Of course, his most famous one is Rustle of Spring. That one is one that's pretty well known as far as these kind of sheet musics go. But this one, not as much. It looks fairly challenging. It has a lot of 16th notes, so since I have not practiced this, I'm not going to play it full speed, but I'll give you some idea what it sounds like at least. Marche Grotesque by Christian Sindig. One comment I have, which I think was kind of strange based on the name, you would expect it to be minor, I think, and sound a little bit more cacophonous, I guess you could say. With a name like that, you think it would sound more like that. I'm reminded a little bit of Allegro Barbaro by Bartok, which I think is similar in a lot of ways. It's got this similar kind of percussive, you know, back and forth thing, which I'm sure this would be a little bit more interesting if I practiced it. It's the kind of piece that you would have to memorize somewhat to go to full speed. Of course, once you play it, you know, it's not as hard to remember the pattern of like the... There's a lot of this back and forth. It's a kind of piece you have to just memorize a little bit to get to do justice with it. But overall, I found it a little bit boring to sight read through it. There wasn't much of a real tune to it. It didn't keep my attention. There was a good bit of accidentals, but none of them really gave me the feeling of Marche Grotesque, and it just, I don't know, didn't find it that great of a piece. I enjoy Rustle of Spring. I play that one fairly often by the same composer. So that is the one that's famous, but it's also just a better piece. So anyway, Marche Grotesque.